So I'll continue actually I'll just start over because I had like 2 words in. So hi, I'm Steven. That's a picture of me. I'm a 3rd-year mechanical engineering student, and currently I'm the secretary and one of the creative design team captains for the ride design team. I've been in TPED since fall 2019, so worked on the coaster project. Still working on the coaster project. I've been to almost every single event this entire year, and I'm involved with just about every part of this club. Fun facts about me is that my favorite animal is penguins. I also have a 615-day streak on Duolingo.
Ready?
Wow. So there's a real picture of me. And then I also included some pictures of me and my friends, including my TPED friends at the parks. Yes, I worked at SeaWorld last summer. Fun fact. And yeah, I'm excited to be considered for the internal vice president and work with all of the people in this club that are great and all the great officers and make a really great plan for the next year. Yeah.
Okay. So we will now be opening up the floor for questions for Stephen.
So I think Grace had her hand up first.
Okay. So as internal vice president, how would you better communication between the ride design teams and other officers like e-board to make sure that like the budget goes out and that we're on track and that like things are moving smoothly? How would you do that?
Okay, so for everyone on Zoom, the question is how to increase communication between the design teams or parts of the club that are more distant at the moment. So I think the most important thing would be to make sure that there's proper updates during the officer meetings. So we started doing that towards the end of the semester, is coming up with like a really good outline for the officer meetings themselves. But I think you can't update everybody about every detail about the design team because there's so much that goes into it. There's like budgets and like we can't go over every single subgroup of a design team. So I think having separate meetings with the e-board outside of the officer meetings would be important to talk about budgeting, meeting times, scheduling, seeing if they need any help, if they want to show off their work to a GBM. Just having a small, efficient meeting that could also be a part of the design team meeting, just like at the beginning, whatever works best with people's schedules. Josh, did you have a question?
It's a 2-part question.
Okay.
In the event you become the internal vice president, what are some things you would like to add to TPED internal? And then my second part would be if you're external, what internally?
Okay, so for people on Zoom, it's what I would add as internal and external vice president. So I think as internal vice president, I definitely want to make sure that we have a strong team of officers. We definitely want to start off like during the summer, during our planning period, like Hannah was talking about, which is something really important, is to plan over the summer for at least the whole fall semester, making sure we have like an outline of what we want to do. So also making sure that every officer gets a chance to meet each other. That was something that was happening this past year. It took so long to get started in the fall. A lot of the officers only know like one other person on the officer team just because they couldn't be as involved. So I think encouraging that involvement in the summer, getting them to know each other would be really important as internal vice president. And then I think as external vice president, I definitely work on communications with other clubs to see if we can do events. We talked about doing, like a workshop with the 3D printing club, and then also reaching out early to like different parks, like SeaWorld or Busch Gardens, to do industry tours, or we're asking guest speakers to come and talk, because that's something you have to start early, as we like discovered this past year. Grace. Mm-hmm.
How would you improve like internal sorry, I don't know how to explain it. Relations? Yeah, like between like the people in the club and like just like sense of community. That's I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For people on Zoom, it's how to increase the community within the officers or within the club itself. I think having more social events or social aspects to our GBMs this semester especially was really heavy on like guest speakers. Like we had just like guest speaker after guest speaker. There wasn't a lot of time to just have like a social kind of like hangout event. That's really important, especially for officers to get to know each other. I think just making sure that everyone stays updated on what all the other officers are doing. I think that's something really cool that we can do in Teams, is that you'll be able to see as well, the officers will be able to see what the other groups are doing on Microsoft Teams and kind of work together better. Anna.
What do you prefer the internal vice president versus like the external? So what do you think your skill sets align more with the internal versus?
Okay, for people on Zoom, questions, why do I prefer internal or external? I think I prefer internal because I get to work more closely with the officers. A lot of them I would already have gotten to know, and all the new ones I'd be excited to meet. I think that's a lot of my experience in other orgs, so I think it's the most valuable thing that I can bring to the club. So like I run a camp for the honors program, and I also have my own organization within the honors program. And so in my role there, I'm reaching out to all of the leaders and making sure everybody's on task and if they need any help, and like, you know, offering any advice if they need any. So I think that it would like kind of parallel really well with what the internal vice president does in TPED. Brandon.
What's your favorite part?
My favorite part of the club, it's definitely the people. Yeah. I think that's really why I joined the club, was I just like joined the meeting, and especially Chris being in the structural team of the roller coaster design team. It was really inviting. And so that's really important to keep up for the future members of TPED.
We're not supposed to hold that microphone because up close it's really, really bad audio.
Is it? Did anybody say something?
Dan said nothing.
The other one I think is the really loud one. I'm trying not to like, I was trying to just keep it calm. Yeah. Yes, Chris. Yes. Like communication of like our events to like the UF as a whole, like getting people to come to meetings. I think one of our biggest, like, I don't know, like the most evidence that we have towards this is like our Alcorn McBride week and our Universal week, where we had pretty low attendance and majority officer attendance for those meetings, versus an event like Chris Larson from Imagineering, or even when we had when we had Disney Entertainment come and speak, we had flyers out before the event. We like hung them up all over campus and letting people know about the event. So when we have a big GBM to start off the semester, getting people really involved right off the bat, and making sure that if we have a big event that we want people to join the club with, making sure that the flyer goes out on time. If we have an event like Swamp Thrills that we want more attendance for, we need to put flyers out so that people know it even exists, even if they don't follow us on Instagram. Because Instagram and Discord are great, but they already have to be following us or in the Discord to see any of that. And then increasing our use of, like, Facebook is dying, yes, but there's a lot of students who use it for clubs, so making sure things get repeated on there or even on LinkedIn.
No further questions? Just kidding.
Does Chris have one more
Last
question?
No. You
So
will not.
I have a 615-day streak learning Mandarin on Duolingo because I was starting to forget it after being almost fluent.
All right.
I think that is a really, really good question. It would probably have to be yes. And I would be so sad if there was any candidate up here who didn't pledge loyalty to the cult of SeaWorld. Yes, I literally have a giant SeaWorld logo on my slide. I do love SeaWorld. And SeaWorld Parks and Entertainment.
Anyway, so with that said, Stephen, please bring Peyton into the room and
Okay.
exit the room.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
And thanks, Ethan and Amanda, for joining on Zoom.
Also, Ethan said it sounds good, so. Did anybody make a cookie break?
All right, the doctor will see you now.
I'll just try this.
What? Yeah, so you just hold the mic. Obviously, don't eat it, but you know. Getting into the.
Things I want to say.
You only have one slide.
Yeah. All right, I'm good. All right, this is largely scripted. For almost 5 years, TPED has been able to facilitate a space where theme park enthusiasts can be themselves. As a club, we have had amazing accomplishments working on fun projects, building professional connections, making friends, and surviving through college together. As this year comes to a close, I'm saddened to say that we will be losing the remaining founding members that have been here since the beginning. To me, I have looked up to these individuals and they have shown me that with enough effort and passion, I too can make it in the industry. I would like to especially thank Chris, Ellie, Will, Mark, and Justin for being those mentors to me. I hope I too can be a mentor figure for all of you and future TPED members. With that in mind, I would like to ensure the club is able to run smoothly and continue giving great opportunities like the ones I was given when I first joined. As vice president, I would like to focus on a few things. First, the design teams. They are the thing that really built this club, and I want to make sure that they get the exposure and funding that they deserve. Next are the socials. These are the events that allow us to really build connections with one another and make TPED like a family. I want to have regularly scheduled socials so that we can build as many friendships as possible. Continuing, I want to make sure that everyone in the university that has an interest in theme parks knows about TPED and allows everyone to be a part of it if they want. Lastly, but definitely not least, I want to make sure all the other executive and appointed officers are given the support they need. I want to be someone who they can reliably count on when things get tough and when things are normal. I'm excited for next year and hope all of you will be a part of it. Questions? Chris.
Thank you. How did you better communication between the RIDE team and keyboard?
I feel like as internal president or a vice president or president should be active in those organizations at all times within the year. And I feel like we have not been able to do that the last year as well as we have in past years because we are expanding and have so many more people and so many more events. But I feel like with more leadership positions, because we're adding another vice president, we could hopefully have a better communication to everyone. I also think the teams would be helpful, having separate channels where we communicate so that you don't have to scroll all the way to the top and miss something that is pretty important. By having these separate channels, you could basically just look and what you want to hear about and see the information there. Josh.
I asked the same question, Steven. What would be something you'd like to add if you became internally? And then same question next.
For me, I would like to be able to reach out to as many people as possible as internal vice president. This is what I think we've been lacking the most within the last few years. So I think our club has a lot of potential of bringing a lot of people, even aren't really interested in theme parks. I think it's a great opportunity for a lot of people. And I feel like we're not getting the word out enough. Everyone that hears about our club is like super interested and want more. And I feel like we could gain those individuals and have them become active members, support the club. As external, I guess I could do it. I would try my best still. I have people where I can like bring them as guest speakers, and I have a few plans no matter what position I get, but I don't have anything long-term for external. I feel like Blanchard, our new advisor, or soon to be new advisor, he has yet to fill out the forms. I think we can really talk with him and help, and he could help us build out our network through the university, basically. So he's really interested in building a connection with Imagineering and other companies because they're expanding right now. So that's one of the things he wants to do and focus on. So by having that connection with him, we could help him out by giving him the connections we have right now. And hopefully down the road, he could pay that back with even more connections. Brandon. Good question. I feel like being able to help out where I can by seeing where there are things that we don't reach our full potential. I feel like I have helped out, not everything, not all the aspects of the club, but for a lot of them, I feel like I was able to give a helping hand when it wasn't really my responsibility. And I feel like that made a large difference or a large impact to me. Brandon? I do not, but I was there. That was cool.
Oh, we haven't asked. You guys need to ask a question. Why did you put your hand up?
That's a similar question to what I asked Steven. As far as like advertising for the laws and all that, how would you
Working with Olivia a lot within the last few months, and that is where I think we need the work club because that is a big aspect of bringing people ourselves to other people, and like social media and flyering and stuff like that is the best way to do that. And also going to like classes themselves, like Grace did earlier last year. That had really good turnout. I would like to see us do that, and just being just a communication with the PR team. I feel like we could fix things and improve them a lot. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Christopher. I do not. I do agree, Mako is the best coaster ever, and there's nothing close, even Iron Gwazi, not as good, nowhere near. Eric Grover, nope. No, not enough airtime, but I do not.
You're not a candidate.